Good morning. My name is Muhammad Abduroaf. I'm a practicing advocate in Cape Town, and today's short video will deal with the issue concerning child custody and guardianship rights regarding minor children. My expertise lies in family law, child custody, child maintenance, guardianship issues, relocation, divorce, various disputes regarding family law matters. So, following up from our previous videos, I would like to touch on the issue concerning child custody disputes and also touch on the issue concerning guardianship rights. There seems to be a bit of a confusion regarding the difference between child custody and guardianship. Child custody basically deals with the issue regarding where the child stays, who cares for the child physically. Guardianship deals with the issue concerning the legal aspects of a child's life. For example, the application for a passport, should the child need to visit another country, leave South Africa, should the child purchase a home while he's of course a minor, etc. So those are guardianship rights. But custody rights dealing with the actual day-to-day caring of the minor child. Before I proceed, it will be appreciated if you could share this video. Many people have this problem, and if you are watching live, just click on the share button on your phone or whatever device you're using so that someone else can also benefit from this video. So we get a lot of queries regarding the issue concerning child custody, where a parent, generally mothers, will ask us how can she obtain sole custody of a child. And her reason for that generally is that the father is not involved in the child's life. The father does not visit the child. The father does not inquire about the child's life at all. And she wants to obtain sole custody for the child. Or that is what she asks me. How do I obtain sole custody of my minor child? So the question I have to her is, or maybe what I pose to her is, doesn't she already have sole custody because she is the one caring for the child, she is the one that looks after the child every single day, and the other party, the father, is not involved in the child's life. So by default, she is exercising sole custody to the child. Then the issue of guardianship comes in. Then I'll ask her the question, don't you maybe mean guardianship rights? For argument's sake, when you apply for a school for the child, they always ask you, where is the father? We require his consent. Or when the mother goes to the hospital, someone will ask her at the hospital, where's the father's consent for the child to do a procedure, whatever the case may be. And of course, when the mother applies for a passport for the child, Home Affairs will always ask, where is the father, because he has to give consent. And then obviously the issue concerning leaving the country, etc. So there has to be a clear distinction between the issue of guardianship and custody. So for that fictitious mom, which I mentioned early on, asking me how can she obtain sole custody of a minor child, the issue is basically guardianship. If she does understand the issue and she does understand the difference between child custody and guardianship rights, but she still wants to obtain sole custody in the sense of she does not want the father to have any rights of contact to the child, or she does not want the father to come out of the blue in a few years' time and say, I would like to have contact to my child, or demand to have contact with his child. And she wants to avoid that. Under those circumstances, it is possible for a court to make such an order stipulating that the mother will have sole custody or the mother will have sole care rights of the child. And if the father wants to have any contact to the child, he needs to obtain the consent of the mother. And the mother will make a decision regarding that. So that will be the true sense of having sole custody, whereby you solely care for the child and you solely decide whether or not anyone else can have contact rights to the child. So that will be basically sole custody. If the scenario comes before my office and the mother says the father was not involved in the child's life for the last 5 years, I understand what sole custody means, and she does. I would like to have sole custody of my child in law. She basically means she wants to have a court order stipulating that she has sole custody of the child. Now, in order for her to do that, she would require obviously a court order and have to go to court. Simple an application will have to be launched. She will stipulate that she wants sole custody over a child. She wants to have the only say regarding where the child can reside and the day-to-day activities of the child. And she would have to file that application on the father as well, if he's around. If he cannot be found, obviously she needs to show the court that he cannot be found, and there's no way she can serve the documentation on him. She has to make a concerted effort. If the father can be found, if he's overseas and is somewhere else, there are various processes that needs to be followed, but the end of the day is he needs to be informed about this application, stipulating or requesting from the court that sole custody be awarded to the mother, and basically he cannot step up or come to the door tomorrow and say, I would like to have contact to my child. What will the court do? The court will have to determine what is best for the child ultimately. Is it in the child's best interest for the mother to have sole custody over her child? If it is, wonderful. If it's not in the child's best interest, the court won't grant that. So the question that will have to be posed is, although this father is not involved in the child's life, will it benefit the child in the long run to have an order that this father cannot at any point come to the child's life and form part of the child's life in the future without the mother making a decision regarding that? If the mother can prove it will be in the child's best interest because this father is a bad person, is a bad influence to society, etc. I'm not giving any examples here, but if that is proven and the court is convinced, no, I agree with the mother, this person is a bad person, he's a bad influence to the child, he will be a bad influence to the child, I believe he shouldn't be in the child's life because it will be detrimental to the child's life. If the mother can convince that to the court, then the court will obviously make such an order. But if the mother's reason solely is that she does not want the father to have any contact rights to the child because of the specific issues they had in the past, and maybe because the father is not involved in the child's life, and he does not want to get involved in the child's life, but there's nothing bad where I'm saying he's not a bad influence to the child, he's not a danger to society, nothing negative will happen should he want to come in the child's life in the future, maybe in a phased-in manner. The child knows he is, the child has contact with him in the past, and so on. So under those circumstances, that fictitious scenario, the court might say, no, ma'am, I do not think it will be in the child's best interest for me to limit the father's right to have any future contact rights to the child. Obviously, should the father come out of nowhere, he can't automatically have overnight contact rights, unsupervised contact rights if the child doesn't know who he is, etc. There has to be a phased-in gradual approach to be applied. But for the court to make an order that the father should have no type of contact rights in the future in a vacuum, with no basis, therefore, the court won't do something like that. Then the application with a specific fictitious client could make regarding guardianship rights, a case might be a bit stronger where that is concerned, because she is a sole primary caregiver for the minor child. She is the one that cares for the child on a day-to-day basis, and the father is not much involved in the child's life. Under those circumstances, she can convince the court that it is inconvenient for her to all the time having to find out where this father is, trying to get hold of him, trying to obtain consent from him for specific aspects of the minor child, sometimes extramural activities, if it's a serious sport, many times when the child goes to the hospital for the operation, or when the child applies to school. She cannot all the time look for this father who's not much involved in the child's life and doesn't really want to be involved in the child's life. Under those circumstances, she can apply for sole guardianship over the minor child, and more than likely the court will grant that relief which a mother seeks. If, however, the father opposes the application and he says, no, I want to be involved in the child's life, but me and the mother always have problems regarding these type of issues, the court will have to listen to both sides of the story, but at the end of the day, the court will have to make a fair decision. Just because the mother and the father always have disputes regarding what school the child should go to does not mean the court will take away the father's rights. The court might order that a mediator be involved, a third party might be involved in trying to assist the parties in resolving these type of issues. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you gain some insight regarding the issue concerning child custody and guardianship rights and how the court will look at it. At the end of the day, the court will determine what is best for the child. If you found this video useful and you learned something from it, please share it. Someone else might find it useful. Thank you very much.